Whoa, Rastafari rule and reign. Rastafari guide and protect I again. Hold fast. Lion with the crown, 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 lion with the crown. By Jagger Ross and Axagoras, Rasputin and Erasmus, Napoleon Leopold.
Oh, once again it is on. Welcome, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, all checking in. We are located live here in the West End, Atlanta West End area, you know, the last community we really got left, you know. So we thankful all checking in. And you are now tuning in to what? The Think Champs. Yes, indeed. You know, I got my #1 compadre with me.
Rebel with a cause.
Okay, and my next brethren checking in.
Peace, this Poetix.
That's what it takes. So we got a real serious lineup today. We building on some real serious topics in our own community. And once again, happy Black History Month, Black people.
Salute, salute.
We got a lot to be proud of.
Who birthday is it?
Today, on the calendar, you know, it's February 14th, right?
So we're not talking about Cupid.
Oh, no. We talking about Black history.
Okay.
So today, we honoring a brother by the name of Frederick Douglass. You know?
Salute, Black Power.
Yes, indeed. Very educated Black man coming out of slavery, you know what I'm saying? Still holding it firm. Because one thing they don't want us to know is that even before we couldn't go to their schools, we were educated. You know what I'm saying? We had skills.
Very much.
You know what I'm saying? Right now we lacking skills. You know what I'm saying? Real talents, you know what I mean? Because we were the original blacksmiths, you know what I mean?
Original Masons.
The original carpenters. Yeah. So the real builders, you know what I mean, of the planet Earth is the Black man. So I see the other day they had a little riot in the White House building, right?
That's what you're calling it?
Yeah, you know, because that's the time we in. You know, it's the time for them to riot, you know what I mean? And they've been doing it since last year, too. This year they just crunk it up again, so they step it up a notch. They took it to the White House, right?
Yeah.
But true story is that Black people built the White House.
That's a fact.
Right?
Yeah.
As a fact, we built
What's
the
that?
White House and we got no pay for
We
it.
were the hands.
What's that, Benjamin Banneker?
We were the
Yeah.
skilled workers.
Well, actually, Benjamin Banneker was the architect.
Well, we built it physically and mentally.
All right, you see
Okay,
it
we
there.
take it both.
You feel me? Because
Do your
Benjamin
research.
Banneker actually designed the whole DC district.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, the Black man did that. You know what I'm saying? With pen and paper and tools in hand. Because he had what? Skills.
Skills.
I forget we had skills, you know. You forget the Black man had skills, you know what I mean? And right now, we don't have skills, we don't even have tools. Right?
Yeah, that's
Because any real skilled man has to have tools to perform his work, right?
True.
You know what I mean? So we lacking on our skills and we definitely lacking on our tools too, and how to use them, you know what I mean? Because you know what's going on too? We in the month of February, we gonna get to that, but still here, you know what's going on too? I've noticed, you know, because driving around lately, you see all these fast cars, you know, I call it demon cars, the Dodge Charger,
Yeah.
you know, and
They're everywhere.
the Challengers and all these things just running up on lights, mad at the light because it's red. You know, itching,
In a rush.
you know, rushing through stuff, you know. But I realized we dealing with the Grand Theft Auto generation.
Facts.
These are the ones who literally watch and play Grand Theft Auto, now driving behind the wheels.
That's how they learn to drive.
Yeah,
Through the video
through the
game.
video game. You know, we had games we hit the curve, you get up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Had to stay straight in line, you know what I mean? Kept us focused on staying straight. These guys bumping off the side of the road, killing people, you know, you think it's fun. But that's not real reality, you know what I mean? So, differently though, slow down in these demon cars, you know what I'm saying? And then they wear them with no seatbelt. Oh my gosh. You got a fast car doing over 100 miles per hour and you ain't even have time and sense to even put your seatbelt on.
Why you think that is?
Hey, because short attention span.
Desensitization to death. You know how many deaths you see in an hour
Right.
on television? I think it's about 80 or something like that. But if you just a repetitional person who watch TV, you see thousands of deaths a week. Simulation though.
Right.
So you desensitizing your real life.
Right. And a lot of levels, news, media, entertainment, and you just had like the video games. You know, the first thing that we was doing on GTA, we want to get all them stars up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How many?
Make
Can
the
you get the
cops come,
helicopters
right?
after you? Can we blow up some cars?
They
So now we
induce
decent-
the demon
Right. Right.
because it's too free.
They bring it out of you.
Everything is distracting us. Instagram. Yo, everybody go on your Instagram, right, and press that middle button where they show you everybody videos and just flip it. Just go like that. You're gonna see the same mind. You should recognize where you at.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by.
And you mentioned before about them challenges. Once you start throwing them challenges, it's a complete repetition and conditioning of the mind. And one of the things I noticed that we do these, well, not we, but you see people doing the dances to these different videos. But then when you hear that the actual lyrics that they're doing the dancing to is something detrimental to you. But we don't even associate it anymore. We just see the dance and we see it over and over and over and over, and to the point where, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, a lot of things that we go through is the psychological part of it. You know what I mean? It's not as physical as it used to be. Well, I mean, there's certain physical reality to it, but
It
most
didn't
of it
move
is
us in the original day. It never
that.
moved us unless it was real, you know.
Right.
Real things moved us.
Right.
Reality.
We living in a time where feelings move people. People move
Emotional
off of
responses.
feelings out here.
Yeah.
Everything's a feeling.
And emotions.
I feel like this is how I feel. This is how I feel.
Right.
But then that same feeling comes with consequences. You know what I mean? And we won't realize these things until it's well too late, you know? So they got the demon car, right? They got the demon car. They rolling with a pistol in there with it. Pistol's fully loaded, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And they driving around listening to this silly music.
The
Every
demon
song
music.
is on some war against your own. You ain't even hear none of the songs say kill the white man.
Oh, what?
That would not even happen,
What?
right?
What is
But
that?
the song tells you to kill your brain, poison yourself.
Kill your girl.
What's up, Rose? Give thanks,
Yes.
man. What's up? That's love.
Kill your nature.
Yeah, kill your nature and just go out here and drive fast in this car. You know what I mean? With the engine revving really hard, like you on a racetrack. Because those cars should be on a racetrack. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be on a regular road, right?
Or the video game.
Oh, in the video game, exactly. You can change the colors of your car in the video game, you know. But now we in the reality, where is that we don't respect one another behind the wheel anymore. You know what I'm saying? Time to time, where you was like at a light, and you see somebody, they're moving a little slow. You said, "Nah, go ahead, you got that. I ain't gotta hit that gas right now. You got that."
Right.
Yeah.
That time is done. That time is done. That light changes. I'm hitting this gas. No matter where you gonna be,
No
you gotta get out the
I
way.
was just thinking that the other day. I was in a car. I was driving, and somebody and it was a pile up. And then when I got up to where like the most of the congestion was in the traffic, I realized I'm like, yo, this don't even have to. Like, if y'all just did this one by one, this would be no traffic behind
You
this.
don't see the brain.
And what it came down to, what I kind of thought about, was like, yo, we live in an immoral state right now, because America, a lot of countries have a rooted, definite moral code, whether it's based by religion or based by the people themselves. In America, it's such a melting pot. What they say, there's no moral standard code, so everybody's moving off their own morals. And when you move off of your own morals, and there's nothing like really anchoring your morals down, they fluctuate. They fluctuate with how you feel in the moment. They fluctuate with what's going on in your life. So there's real no moral code. So when we see people interacting in everyday, circumstances, you see them like do asshole shit, do jerk shit. You know what I mean? And then it's like you when they in that car, that demon car, when they in that shit with the music blasting and revving, they in their own world. You might as well be a figment of their imagination. They
That's
moving
second
on
life.
their own beat. There's no moral code. There's no moral connection. You know what I'm saying? That's the result of American culture and European culture. You know what I'm saying? Which produces those.
Okay, back to the video game, right? What's the first thing y'all said? You get on and you start killing. Okay, so now if you don't have no value for the life in the game, you lose that.
Right.
Just that perception in general.
Right.
You're not even thinking of it. Like they're driving all fast, right?
Yeah.
Is he thinking or she, I might could hurt someone else
Never that.
if I make a mistake?
Never
They're
that.
not even thinking that. They don't teach you, you touched it, the feel thing. Everybody say I feel today, right? So if I say, yo, that donut is good, yo, I feel like it tastes good. But that's not a feeling, that's a thought.
Right.
So you should say I think, not I feel. So peep the language. They be throwing these nomenclatures in the game to trap you. You think it's like the cool thing to say, right?
Yeah.
You right though.
But then it induces what the definition is.
Right. Just like if you in school, right? And you know, you in class, you know, the teacher up there, and she say, you know, she call you by your name, you know. What's the answer to this question? And you tell her, well, you know, I feel like the answer is so and so, you know. I feel like 2 plus 2 is 9. I feel that way just today. Maybe it could be just 9.
Okay.
What the teacher gonna say? No, you're absolutely wrong.
Yep.
Right.
You have to know this, Jimmy, or whoever your name is. You need to know
PD.
what's right. You know what I'm saying? So listen, we gotta get you right. Because you're going off your feelings. You're not going off what's actually right. You know?
True knowledge.
Man in the demon car, he feel like he can run this red light.
This
Right
how
now.
He get while you in there. Yeah.
He feeling that right now. I can run this light. I know it's gonna change. I can run it right now. Bang, smack. No seatbelt, flew out, hit the concrete, lost his life. This is what's going on, you know. And the tool hit the concrete too and it shot somebody. Because it was loaded.
Wow.
Yeah, these things going on right now because we're not thinking. You see what I'm saying? The whole thing is you have to think before you act. We out here listening to these silly rappers, you know, especially in these times. Because if you cut it on, people is feeling the beat, but they're not knowing and listening to the actual lyrics. But they feeling the beat though.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Remember the era where they said, yo, I only like the beat? A few years ago? Killed lyrics right there. Now they numb to the lyrics. That's 5-year-olds dancing to that.
Right.
Yo, kill it, funny business.
They
And they doing the dance to it.
First off, they ain't even dancing. I
Well,
call it exercising.
Well,
ain't even dancing, brethren.
It might be an
It's
exercise.
an exercises, brethren. You know what I'm saying? Dances is steps, you know what I'm saying? Rhythm, you know what I mean? Because what happened, as Africans, you know, we dance to the African beat, the drum beat. You know what I'm saying? So there's a rhythm that we come from.
Even the native and indigenous, they have their beats.
The drum,
Yeah.
the drum
The
is
drum is-
always.
the drum is the beat.
universal.
So you check this time even now we living in. How many Africans that's even from Africa even touching drums right now?
The indigenous, maybe.
Right? So we looking at a time where we ain't doing nothing the original way we came from doing it.
Yeah.
We trying to make up a new way.
The new age.
You know what I mean? That's what's going on now. Man make up a new way. Man said the belt was fine, perfect. You tie it through the loops and you put the belt through the buckle and you good.
Right.
Man said, nah, we don't do that no more. We wear the belt buckle through the loops, but we keep the belt open totally. And the pants way down to our ankles and knees. That's what we doing out here. You know what I mean? Reinventing something that can't be reinvented. So this is what's going on. We're not moving consciously. You know what I mean?
We got a lot of emotional responses. That's the only thing I noticed.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a lot of emotional responses.
Mm.
And it's like, you know, I think it's due to a lot of the trauma that a lot of us go through. You know what I mean? It's kind of like our defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying? To have these emotional displays and, you know, we don't never let things come in and process them and deal with our emotions and think about them. We're constantly needing to be stimulated and constantly need to express our stimulation. You know what I mean? But I think that's a matter, honestly, we can go down to the food and the TV we watch. The food got a lot to do with how we respond. And I don't think people really understand how much what we put in our bodies. And I don't have the perfect diet, I'll tell you that. But I do know that the things we put in our bodies affect our emotional responses to things.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? When they tell you about gut feelings and things like that.
Oh, man.
Black people feeding they baby that like Cheetos at
Yeah.
2 and 3, that's
Man.
affecting their emotional stimuli. You know what I'm saying? At a young age. You know what I mean? Y'all can do your research on that.
Melamine.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
All the
Bunch
food
of
is GMO'd
toxins.
out, you know?
We having these
So-
emotional responses at adult age.
Right.
Because of
Yeah.
everything that we've been through our entire lives, from our diet to everything.
We're blessed.
Nah, it's definitely the food too.
That's real. The food and definitely, and what we drinking too.
Yeah.
We ain't drinking no real water. We ain't even interested in real water.
Nope.
I told somebody, what's up, Dub? I told somebody, that's drinking water, it's not good to drink. I said, well, it's drinking water. I'm supposed to drink it. I said, no, you don't need to drink that. You can clean your stuff with that. You can do a lot of things with that, but you can't drink it. You know what I mean? You have to drink water from actual sources like rivers, springs,
Right.
glaciers, you know what I mean? Well water, things that's coming from actual sources. But in this day and time, we quick to pick up an Aquafina or the shiny bottle. You know what I mean?
Convenience done did a number on us. That's what it's
And the programming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if the white man don't say it, it ain't right.
I was about to say that. The white man drinking it on TV.
You know what I mean?
So I need that, bro.
Yeah.
Actually, yo, I got an interesting story about that with the whole alkaline water.
Mm.
So one day I was actually out in, I believe, Kanye's, and I was talking to a dude. We had like a little business arrangement. But I was talking to him, a little business meeting. Now after we was done, there was another guy that was in Starbucks at the time, and he was like, he wanted to talk to me about the business I was talking to the man about. So, you know, when we started having conversation, we started to like, you know, vibe and build on some things, and he was just like, you know, he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. He showed me his black card. It's like this heavy metal card there. So I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, you know, this is my net worth. Da 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 da. And so we started talking about some business things, and it was a real insightful conversation. But one of the things he was telling me about was, he said the whole alkaline movement, alkaline water, and the whole putting the pH balance on all of these different waters, that was all a marketing scheme. And there's no difference between the water that you drank 10 years ago and the alkaline water that they say right now. Because if you think about it, about 5-6 years ago, there was Deer Park, Poland Springs, and maybe you know what I'm saying, like one of now there's Poland Springs, Aquafina, Dasani, Core. There's this water, that water. There's literally 10 different. And he was saying like, yo, a lot of these different, and this is him telling me, because he was like, well, the way he was framing it was, I'm giving you the inside scoop from the billionaire side of it.
Money from it.
All of this is just marketing. All of it is marketing, and it's them penetrated. Now, I don't think that there's. I do believe that alkaline pH plays a role in the water. You know what I'm saying? Basically, the source and everything. But when it comes to that mainstream level of promoting and marketing these things, they take advantage of it on so many different levels, to where we don't even know what it is. Like whether we going left or right. You know what I mean? So. It's definitely a uphill battle for us, correcting. Like even when you say like some of the dudes that be wearing the baggy pants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I personally, I try not to take it too hard on them, but I do see like the trauma going on. But a lot of them is just going through that trauma. That's a lot of trauma when you see a dude. Like I know a couple dudes that's on the block and they out there day in, day out. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta work, you know what I'm saying, security gig in the community, and I'm up at 10 o'clock, I see them there. When I'm leaving, you know what I'm saying, going to the crib at 11:30, they there, you know what I'm saying, day in, day out. They built their own culture that was rooted in their own trauma.
But
so how could
it's also, not to cut you, but it's also no morals, you know what I'm saying? Because when the pants is sagging like that, there's no morals there. There's no respect there, you know? And, you know, I think that if we don't speak on these things, it will continue. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's time for the black man to pull his pants up. It's time for the woman to wear a dress again. You know what I'm saying? We got to put these things in real perspectives again. You know what I mean? Because if a man don't know how to dress and if a woman don't know how to dress, are they really men and women?
it makes a difference. You right.
No, I'm saying, are they? Like, you got to dress like, you know what I'm saying? You can't go to a fire, you know what I mean? And you dressed in your outfit to go to a party.
Are you a firefighter?
You know what I'm saying? You literally have to be dressed for the occasion.
Right, you right.
Right? So, in order for us to get our full black mind black again, we have to be pulling our pants up. The women have to be in dresses so we have more respect for one another again. Now the women wearing more pants than men.
We just talking about that.
No, for real, it's serious. Because the men ain't wearing their pants. They halfway wearing them. So women is wearing more pants than men. Because their pants is all the way up. And the men pants is all the way down. So women is wearing more pants than the man right now. That's the reality. We seeing men with their drawers out. You understand? So, all right, let's stay to that fact. All right, so now, let's get back to the realness of self. You know what I'm saying? The realness of self, because see what happened in Black History Month, ones don't realize this is a time where we can gather ourselves again and get to really checking ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Loving our full self in its natural state. You know what I'm saying? This day, this month was really created for us to do that. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't focus on that. We focus on the other months because we mad because it's only 28. You know what I'm saying?
Christmas ain't in this month.
I tell him, man, happy Black History Month. First thing he tell me, I'm black every month. It's Black History every month. I hear you. I'm going to check you next month then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to check you on that next month because next month I know you're going to be in somebody else's program. It's going to be the the Super Bowl or whoever they come out with. You know what I mean?
St. Patty's Day.
Right.
We're going to be talking. I thought you was Black every month, brother.
Right.
Yeah, I feel you.
So Black History Month got to really get black into us loving us again. And now, here's the thing. There's a new form of love now. Right? We call it self-love.
I love
right?
myself.
The self-love now is what everyone's into, but that's the introvert love. Because now you're just loving yourself. You ain't trying to share your nothing with no one else. You know what I'm saying? You really don't even want to be around other people now because you're loving yourself so much. Right?
True introvert.
So this type of self-love is not where we come from. You know what I'm saying? Our true love is love for us as a people. You know what I'm saying? Love for us as a people. See, we forgot that we's a people. See, we so scattered, you know what I'm saying? We in this individual state. But we can only get strong, because you go through millions of trauma by yourself. But you gotta look at the things that we've been through as a nation of people.
And
then you see where that trauma that you had don't really matter, right?
Word up.
It don't really matter.
Word up.
You know what I'm saying? Because our people went through much more than your little traumatic situation now. And you check, oh, I was raped. Okay, good. You know how many of our grandmothers was raped and couldn't do nothing about it?
Cooked
A lot of
dinner.
that shit still get passed down to them though.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of that shit is still like the trauma from
But they ate
our
the pain.
ancestors.
Brethren, it's
It's
something we got to realize until we step up and claim to be whole men, not 3/5 of a man. You know what I'm saying? And step up as whole men and whole women again.
Right.
You feel me saying? We would have our own place in our own time.
I don't disagree at all. You're right. You're 100% right. I want to know. We gotta build a bridge so that we can get those who want to be whole men to be whole men. You know what I'm saying? We gotta build that bridge as whole men. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't nobody they don't have anything that shows them what a whole man is to be. Right. And the one thing you said about that whole self-love, that's real interesting, bro. Because there's a big movement about self-love right now, and it's always glorifying the individual. Now I understand the process of self-love and healing yourself and caring, protecting your peace and energy, but you're right though, the love that we are us, the gathering of people. That's the strongest, that group experience is the strongest type of love. And I use this example all the time. When you put black people in one space, what do you get? You get a lot of heat. Heat is real life energy. They really power things off of heat. So if you break that down, that means each and every one of us have an energy force that we got to share with each other. You know what I'm saying?
All right. But now what they got them doing? Washing their hands, social distancing, and wearing a mask.
Yeah, I feel you.
Right?
Yeah.
So where the heat at then?
That's their play.
Where the heat?
We're dealing with machines.
Where the heat? Because everybody divided, everybody separated. Right. Okay, take a second. Let's get their mind right? Take the word COVID-19, erase that. Like with your race in your mind, erase COVID-19 and put martial law.
Right.
Yeah, you might as well.
Right. Yeah, just write that in your mind right quick. Because you hear COVID-19, say martial law. And you start thinking for yourself again, okay? Because that's what it is. You out there social distancing, you lock down yourself.
Sacrificing rights.
You scared to go somewhere for yourself. You can't go nowhere.
Now
I
you
want to
looking
take a
at people
trip.
crazy.
I can't
You
go
looking at
trip.
people-
Right.
Huh?
You looking at people crazy now?
I
Oh,
can't
What is
call.
this person doing?
This
can't
person
call.
next to me too
Why don't
close.
he got a mask on? Man.
Oh, my
He ain't
bad.
got 2 masks on now. Ooh.
Yeah, they said double the mask.
Double
And
it up.
There's a video. There's a scientist that
all
said
that
the masks don't do anything.
fake
They don't.
science,
They don't
man.
protect to that
fact.
level of the size of the atoms or the size of the particles
Exactly.
that carry the virus. They don't even protect to that point.
Them M19 masks do those.
I mean, it's cool. Honestly, for me, I feel like this is just another like representation of spiritual warfare. Your body is supposed to be able to defend itself from everything. If you treat your body right and you keep your mind elevating at the right frequency, your body will
Facts.
protect yourself from whatever is going to come into your body. And if you start believing in fear, if you start being consumed by fear, that's lowering your frequency, which means your body will be affected by anything they got going on. So if your mind is right, your spirit is right, your body right, you ain't got to worry about nothing. You know what I'm saying? You just
Okay.
and the minute you question that, you already on that slippery slope. You don't question it.
Yeah, you
You know what I'm
can't.
saying? You can't. So you know.
So here's the thing. So you walk around with 2 masks on your face, right? Out there by yourself, social distancing, right? See, the mask is really master. Take that again. Switch that, write that away. Mask and put master. You can also add muffle, because that's what it is, a muffle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a muffle on your face from the master. That's what you got. And you're comfortable with that. You understand? You're comfortable being silent and letting the master keep you socially distant from your own people, which is your own heat, which is your own
power.
immune system booster.
Exactly.
You know what I
Telling
mean?
you to stay inside so you don't get no vitamin D from the sun.
No sun.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
What you doing?
Then they want you to put this foreign chemical in your body, call it a vaccination. And the crazy thing is, we talked about it before the show, the pattern. This has been done before. That's the thing that kind of upsets me. Is like they're insulting our intelligence at a certain point because we already seen it before. They did the Tuskegee experiment.
And you see what happened to Hank?
less than what was that 60 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's really just an insult of our intelligence. They've
really
been
is.
doing
Well,
these things.
it shows the level we're on, perception-wise. From our history, how did they cut it off from the youth? Is that our fault?
You know what I don't think we ever understood? I don't think we ever understood from day one, from the minute we were supposed to be free. We never knew the lengths that they would go to keep us subservient. Because a lot of us had the mentality that when we were actually free, we're free now. And then we got a rude awakening, and then, 40 years later, we might, all right, now we're free. And then you got another rude awakening, and then at a certain point, it became like it became like a focus for them to keep us at a certain level in society. And now they don't whitewash the message so long. You got people who are foreigners. It's a global stage now. You got people who don't even understand the context of us living in America. Like, oh, you had Martin Luther King. If someone outside of our people talking to me about Martin Luther King, I understand your perspective. I ain't gonna say anything wrong with the King, but I understand your perception of history because you've only been given it from this, European version of history. But when you understand the struggle of it, you know what I mean? That's when you can put that whole thing in context. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's true. When you look at it, they got the whole thing set up. They got all the holidays, which I call folly days.
Horror days.
So every folly day is a pure distraction. You know what I mean?
yes.
Pure distraction. So we constantly focus on these people folly days, and it's tearing us apart. You know what I'm saying? More and more. Just like today. You know what I'm saying? They call out their Valentine's Day, right?
Right.
You know how many people tore apart, mad, upset because of this day? They literally thinking now about someone and wondering why somebody ain't did something for them this day.
Right.
That's
Right.
what I'm
Why
saying.
you ain't?
You know what I mean?
And then at that point, love no longer became enough.
Nope.
Right.
It was the material that was attached to
The
it.
gift.
Imagine that.
These folly days, that's what keeps people
Imagine
struggling.
that. You got one day to really love on one another and show you someone you really love them.
Now let's line it
What
up.
happened if they don't make it to the next Valentine's Day?
And they
That's
never really
true.
loved you, saying?
Let's line it up though. What's Valentine's Day?
Ah, man, a folly murdering day.
Exactly.
The God of love is a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, that's pedophilia, my G's.
Right, right.
True son.
Peep the real science. Like, what's all the holidays?
Mm-hmm.
Do rabbits lay eggs?
Never.
Okay, now go do the math to that. Those are testes. The homosexual angles from Rome and Greece is behind that.
Right.
Pedophilia for
With,
Cupid, right?
And that was their way of life. You go to their ceilings, they little
Yeah,
murals.
they
got
had
the
those.
grown men touching their fingers.
They destroyed a lot of that. That should be in the museums. But if you go to museums, you'll still see a big homosexuality link. But that's not the point.
Yeah.
We're being bombarded by messaging, the silent sound. You gotta turn the world off. You gotta understand how to turn the world off. What the Bible say, I'm in the world but not of it.
Not of it. Not of it.
Okay, so how do we maneuver? They gotta learn how to maneuver Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
That urge to be seen, right? Is that what are you seeing? Me?
Right.
You paying attention to everybody's life but yours, even if they are black.
Right. How you know all these celebrities' birthday, then you don't even know your own family's birthday?
Your great grandmother.
You know, you have no clue. You know what month they born in, right? So this is the thing, we got too many distractions, you know what I'm saying? And that's what the media and all these things do, constantly keep us distracted. Like, okay, so, like I said, we're in Black History Month, right? So it's 28 days, right? They mad about that too, you know, because they want a longer month too. But I'm saying your attention span's short. So let's stay focused on 28. Let's see how we can rock 28.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
Let's really work with the 28. And then we can say, let's take the 365, 366. You understand? Let's take the whole year, but we got to get at least 28 in. So hold on, we in Black History Month. We got a Black History Month party going on?
Right here.
I am here. Any Black History Month celebration parties going on here?
I mean,
I'm saying just that mind state, right?
Nope.
Because this our time.
No
you know
events.
what I'm saying? But we know that Valentine's is going on, right? We know that there's time to separate ourselves and to give these people more time and energy and funds.
And you know what else happens in February? The Academy Awards, the Grammys,
Super Bowl.
the NBA. I think the NBA All-Star usually.
Yeah,
February, right?
it's in there too. It's in there. Yeah, the All-Star in there.
It's all like, and you know, how you take it and break it down.
President's Day.
All,
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
All up in here. We're going to celebrate President's Day. We're going to actually be
Exactly.
off
At the end of the day,
for their
right.
people on our days. We could take off on President's Day, but all the rest of the days we got to get black to work.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Wow.
So even the
state?
slaves had more time off than we did. I'll tell you that, right? The slaves didn't work during the winter. You know that, right?
Yeah.
They didn't work through the winter, brethren. The slaves had off through the winter, baby. Yeah, they only worked
Some
through the
of them
warm
maybe.
days.
I
I'm
don't
telling
know.
you, on the field, because it wasn't nothing growing. You know what I'm saying? That's the
still
hard
made us
work.
go.
You feel me? The field was the hard work. We were field Negroes, right? So, field wasn't working. Nothing was growing in the winter. We had months off. Anybody got months off on their job? Anybody got months off right now on their job?
Nope.
Okay, good. So we doing worse now than we was doing then. You understand? Cause we working so
That's
many
true.
days a month.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Like a
many
slave.
days a year. These men get salaries, you know. You know what I mean? So that mean they don't work the whole anything when you're on a salary. You know that. You don't work the whole anything. You just on the salary. Is
You
what
get
you are.
paid for the year.
You get paid. You feel me? We don't get none of that. Why? Because we second class citizens. We forget these things. You know what I'm saying? We forget these. That's why we still gotta reminisce about slavery and all these things, because we still that second class citizen. And here's the thing, we comfortable with that. We comfortable with that because that means we could be right here under master wearing his mask, right?
Yeah.
In order for us to get our full independence, right, we're gonna have to stand for that. We're gonna have to fight for that.
For that, defend it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fight for that. We lost a lot of soldiers because what? They fought for that.
Who
They
did
didn't.
fight?
They didn't just die just because of all natural causes, right?
But who they fight?
All right,
Who they fight?
big story. True. The true
One of
enemy.
y'all answer that. Who did they fight?
The true enemy.
Who is the true enemy?
Yeah, man, the European. Let's keep it real.
That's the key that's missing.
Yeah.
You know, so when we talk about and I got kind of like an interesting connection with this. When we start talking about love, right? So everybody, for those who kind of like shy away from the fight, the war, the physical aspect, we always hear people talking about, oh, it's all about love. It's let's just love, right? But right, and we said this before, we got to define what love is, because love is what makes you fight and defend for your people. Love is what makes you want to go to these lengths to defend yours. And I always kind of bring up the point where it's like, yo, if somebody was in your house, right, and they were beating up your family and they was hurting them, what would love do at that point in time? And that's the same way I see it when we talk about our people out here, you know what I'm saying, in the community and, you know, just every single day. So at a certain point, you're going to have to fight for something. And it got to be the love that for your people, love for your community, love for, you know what I mean, love for the possibility of being better than what we've been throughout history. You know what I'm saying?
True.
That's the love we got to fight for.
Right.
I feel that.
It's so true. No, that's real, because that's worth fighting for. You know, your family's worth fighting for, and it's worth, you know what I'm saying, taking a life for. Because if they're trying to take your family life, what you supposed to do? Right? Take this. But what happened? We lost that because we so divided now. Having one child, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, we had 7, 8 children, brothers and sisters. You couldn't mess with them. You couldn't mess with little man. You got 8 brothers and sisters out there, man. They beast in these streets. Now, leave little man alone, right? So that was because of the love.
Yep.
The love right there made him untouchable. He had too many brothers and sisters that really loved him and cared about him. You couldn't put your hands on.
That's the natural defense. That's the natural army. That ain't no army natural than the one that your family birthed. We not even soldiers together. We family together fighting. How far you gonna fight for? I fight more for my brother than a stranger.
Okay, right, that's true sound. Yeah, and that's the key. But when we really know ourselves, we all are brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? That's what we are. You know what I mean? We supposed to be defending each other. You know what I'm saying? In all aspects, just because of who we are and the color of our skin. That's when it get real again. You know what I mean? Right now it's too divided. Because again, this is all done by design. Because again, it is martial law. You know what I'm saying? To keep people separated, divided, from even building, coming together. But now, check how the science go. They still partying. They still doing their thing, right? But the church is still closed, right?
School.
The churches are still closed, right? So this is a point that you got to realize that the spirituality side is what they took away from it. They let you have all the other this martial law again, you know. There's no other God but the God you're going to serve, you know. Remember that. God of Babylon, you know. You can't serve the Almighty God. Not in Babylon.
2 masters.
Not in Babylon.
Nope.
No. You got to have some idol, because we're in America. Everybody got their favorite idol. Well, they even got a show called American Idol, right? You know what I'm saying? So, bunch of idols. Everything's set up on idolatry, right? Who's the biggest idols in America? Black idols. Who popped up? Obama Nation.
Obama.
Who's the second one then? I don't call Obama Nation. It should be easy now.
Shit, there's a million of them.
Jay-Z?
Fucking Oprah.
Michelle.
She's 2.
Michelle has got to be 2. Oprah can't hold Michelle's seat no more. We're in the back seat now. Michelle and Obama is running the mind state of our brothers and sisters out there right now.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they literally comfortable with these Uncle Tom, house Negroes.
She coined this shit, when they go low, we go high. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, I understand the picture of it, but when she said that doesn't make sense, because this isn't a going low thing. It's not a going low or going high thing. They've set up systematic, you know, and policies. They've set up legislation that has directly negatively impacted us. So it's how we go high when they keep, you know, killing us, or making these laws, taking away the funding from the education, shutting down the community buildings. Crazy thing. One of their representations of going low is they shut down, I think it was probably like 12 different community centers in Philly in 2012 or something like that, 2013. And then the next year, Philly was back in the top of the #1 murder rate city in America.
Oh, no doubt.
The next year.
Next year.
Right after they shut down. So that's a representation of them going low. So how do we go high with that?
No, can't go high.
How do you go high? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
possible.
Yeah,
I
that
see
don't
that,
make
man.
sense.
It's only a
all
few ways
population
out,
control. That's what it's all about, population control, getting us off the map and taking out the elders, you know, because that's the thing, the separation now between the youth and the elders, you know. As the elders got the wisdom, you know what I'm saying? They've been through there and they can
Yeah.
teach ones how to get through, you know. But now the whole thing now, attack the elders, you know what I'm saying, hit them with the vaccine, you know, and they all willing to, you know what I'm saying, to take this thing because what? Master said wear the mask.
Well,
Right.
y'all touched on is fear. Everything fear-based, right? So, and if everybody's emotional, fear is real.
Oh yes.
It's like
all
a
day.
5-year-old with a boogeyman in the closet.
All day.
So when the white man played the game that we know, we made it through the field, right? So we won't ever lead with fear.
True, true.
Listen to the news. Listen to everyone's. You touched on that earlier too. The trauma. Notice how people. I've never heard Rod's trauma. The warriors don't spill their trauma. Real black people don't spill their trauma. All I see is everyone spilling the trauma, right? So they know that. Social controllers watching Instagram, what y'all say, the algorithm? What words they using? What language they using in the algorithm? I can tell how you thinking. You giving me your whole script. So now I could read that whole thing and now I know how to come at you. It doesn't work with a veteran because we don't subscribe to these lower vibrations. That's somebody untrained, unmatured in their own self.
Yeah.
So you like a little kid to the white man, his little system. That shit is for masterminds. To eat it, you gotta be a mastermind. It's, of course, the tsunami gonna kill the rookies. I wanna ask, are they our responsibility? It's like we climbing up the hill, right? You see them on the side, they need our help. Do we stop?
I feel like you gotta help the ones that are willing to help, and you gotta, as the person that coming to help, you gotta have a real strict, you know what I'm saying, like guideline. Are you gonna help? Now, if you help somebody the first time and they don't get it, it's on you to decide when it's no longer a project you willing to. It's no longer a place where you can help, because the last thing you're gonna do is you know, cast your pearls before swine. If they not trying to pick up the message, if they not trying to understand, then you gotta move on.
Let me
But
throw
if
a
they
boomerang.
trying, if they want to get to it, if you see the effort they putting in, then yeah, it's your responsibility to help them out, to
Okay.
guide them, because someone helped you along the way.
Nah, I feel you.
But for the ones that ain't,
But
let them go.
if the enemy across the street, right, you just tried to hit somebody with jewels, they ain't want it. 2 months later, right, they still ain't want it. And you say, I ain't casting my pearls. Isn't that what the enemy want?
Just the way you phrased it, when you say, yo, ain't that what the enemy want? Now, what the enemy want is you to waste your energy and your time and your investment on what they've already consumed. They already consumed his mind. That is,
So they done.
if they show signs
Yeah.
of life, then resuscitate them.
Okay.
But if they is done on the battlefield, you got to go. This a war. This a war.
Now I just want all the leaders out there
And
to hear the scenario of
we've all
what
had
leaders
to
go
it.
through.
When we had to outgrow people in our lives, it's the same thing. They might not have been dead, but they might have been you outgrew situations and circumstances. This is a point in time where
I was going to the clubs and wanted to, you know, mess on every little shorty I saw. And those was the people I was hanging around. They was reinforcing those ideas.
No doubt.
But when you dead in the mind like that and you gotta go on, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to who, like the other brothers who had to make those sacrifices. Like, nah, I can't do that no more. And you're gonna leave them behind. The same way you leave somebody else and you try and put them on, you try and get them out the street or you try and get them off the corner. Nah, you gotta be careful. Like I heard this one saying, if you try to save someone from hell, you have to first make sure they don't like it there. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody out there like it, like where they at, the enemy wants you wasting your light on this situation that's no longer feeding you. And that's just the hard, the concept. You gotta take it. That's what it is. It's war.
That's true.
Deep.
I see that. That's real sound. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's real.
Nah, that was deep.
Speak on it, Rep.
Nah, that was deep. That's why I asked. I'm like, how long do we stay? Because when you try to save somebody drowning, they could take you down if they don't acquiesce to the fact that they drowning and they can't do nothing.
Right.
So all that fear for your life, they gonna keep wailing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whoever show life, I guess, will save them. From Poe.
You could show love. You show love from a distance. You feel me? You could always show love from a distance, and it's a real concept, especially in our community, because when you on this liberation movement, when you start talking, you bringing up a lot of people's traumas when you start talking about real things. So a lot of people, the ones that gonna fight you, are gonna look like you. So more importantly because most of the time, 9 out of 10 days, I'm not interacting with anybody outside of black people. You know what I'm saying? We could say the white man this, white man that, but 9/10 of the time, I'm not interacting with him. And what he's done is he has already done and been done, and will continue to do it. So the ones that we're going to have to interact with are ourselves. So we're going to have to be real particular about the people who we feed into, we give our energy to, we give our time to. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And at a certain point in time, you know what I'm saying? You love them from a distance and you let them go. You let them go and you wish them well, you know what I'm saying? Keep them in your prayers, for real. You know? And the hardest part is when that's family.
Well, they say you lose your family first when you get conscious.
And that'd be the hardest thing. That'd be the hardest thing, you know what I mean?
That's real. That's real, for real. So yeah, Poetix, we want to definitely build with you too. We know you putting out books too, right?
No doubt.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about, you know what I'm saying?
Spiritual warfare.
The things you building and doing, you know?
For sure, man. So I'm a spoken word artist here, and basically it's just, I believe in content and being able to control our own narrative, control our own rhetoric, and when we do that, we gotta create our own and curate our own platforms. So just like this, we got, we did a short film titled Mama. We did that two months ago. The Cozy Production and REBALVISION, that's my brand. We did that, and then we have the project that's coming up right now is Spiritual Warfare, Inspiration of a Nation. Now that is a book that I actually published in 2017, but as you grow and you read and you live and you learn, you know more experiences. So this is an updated version of Spiritual Warfare, and that also comes with its own CD. It's not a direct like audio book. It's an actual CD. It's an actual I made 10 tracks, and it's together. It's Spiritual Warfare, Inspiration, Nation, and the whole point of it is basically the conversation that we had here and the conversation we had before. It's giving people an understanding of what we actually going through, what we are up against. It's too much. There's too much that's been going on for centuries for us to see and frame our struggle. You know what I'm saying? By what the media tells us, or what we see in the Black Lives Matter movement. So this book is the psychological portion, and even into the spiritual portion of how we are affected from introducing our body to fear every single day, by constantly separating people. When you constantly divide people who are meant to be together, you do something to the strength of that people. You know what I'm saying? Our strength is in us. Our strength is our ability to gather and commune and to work together. That's our strength. So when you divide us, that's a form of warfare, and it has spiritual implications. So the book goes into that. It's a collection of essays and spoken word pieces that all circulate around that same message. You know what I mean? The only solution is to build our own nation, to build self-sustaining community. And I know saying nation seems big in a lot of people's head. So if your mind is not quite there yet, think about it as building our own self-sustaining communities that we can defend. Let's start with those goals. You know what I mean? The education portion, the import-export goods, resources, controlling those things. So that's the inspiration of a nation part. And everything I do in turn content-wise is going to be just that. You know what I mean? Pushing that message, that mission. And then we also do, I'm not sure when we airing, but we also have a spoken word slam competition coming up right here in the West End.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be at 640 Unity Coffee Cafe.
Right.
It's going to be February 22nd at 7 o'clock. February 22nd, 7 o'clock. That's going to be a dope thing. We got 12 artists coming out. and they're gonna be doing their spoken word. So
Yeah, we did.
yeah, for sure, it'll be
Definitely
good. But
did.
yeah, that's what we got going
So
on.
now hold the mic.
Here we
I
go.
just got a question or two. When did you know you was a poet? When you first realized you had the gift?
When I first knew I was a poet, that's an interesting question.
You know.
Nah, because people don't phrase it like that. People don't phrase it like that. Like, oh, when you started writing. Oh, well, I started writing in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was 22. But when did I know I was a poet? I always knew I knew how to speak. Like, when I was younger, I used to talk myself into and out of trouble. So I always knew how to use it. I was always learning how to use my words. I didn't get direction with my words until around like 21, 22. I was going through some rough things in my life. I got kicked out of certain things. I got suspended, in trouble with the law and things like that. And it really put me in a space where I ain't like talking to people about it. So I started writing it. And then from writing it, somebody told me to perform it once. And then once I performed it and I felt that energy, I was hooked. And my mother always told me that I was meant to be a griot. And so back in the day, griots are the storytellers, the law keepers, like they kept the oral tradition. And, you know, from there, man, I just respect that aspect of history, the spoken word. Before the written text, there was spoken word. You know what I'm saying? And God was in the word. You feel me? I'm not religious buff. I'm not going to quote the Bible, but there's certain spiritual, you know what I'm saying, laws out there. And the power is in the word. You feel me? That's a spiritual law. So, yeah, that's how I became a poet.
Words or weapons? What was some of your inspiration? Where you got the inspiration from? What other artists or situation?
I feel you.
My honestly only inspiration has always been my family. I grew up in a Hebrew Israelite household. My father was a minister. I'm a third generation preacher kid. My grandfather was a Baptist preacher. My father was a Hebrew Israelite who preached in the ministry. My father's name is Hodam Yahbin Melchizedek. My mother's name is Howard Nofia. So I get it from my family. I'm one of 6. I got 3 older sisters, so I was raised by queens. You know what I'm saying? And I got 2 younger brothers, so, you know, I always had that responsibility of being a man in the house, but at the same time, I had older sisters, so, and they like real black women, like the epitome of black women in my eyes, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's kind of where I get my inspiration from. Outside of that, man, you just gotta look outside and see your connection to it. You feel me? Like when you asked me earlier, what happened when you first time you saw Roots? You know what I'm saying? You start thinking about your connection to it. Man, my connection to it been preached from a young age, even when I didn't understand it. So at a certain point, it's just you surrounded by it and consumed by it. It's like, okay, I don't know anything different. But then when you see something different, you go out there in the world and you see something different, man, you yearn to come back to it. You know what I mean? So that's where my spoken word and how I got back to it through my spoken word.
Nah, because I seen you perform. One of the most powerful brothers on the mic.
Well, I appreciate that, brother.
There's not even no cap.
I appreciate
now,
that.
You got a lot of powerful wordplay. You love us, I could tell.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
And it's love. Like, when we say black love, you gotta love your brother and sister for the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the indifferent, all of that. It's your people. See yourself in that person. You know what I'm saying? See your mistakes in them. See your glory in them. See everything in your people. Because if you're looking somewhere else, you're going against yourself. If you're looking for your roots and your identity in any other community, any other, you're going against who you are. And that's, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Oh, no doubt. You could have kept going. Yeah, that was hard.
I mean, I was gonna go deep on it. I was like, yo, that's a sin. That's a mortal sin to go against yourself. To rebel against your very nature is a sin. You know what I'm saying? That's more of a philosophical thing, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how people feel about sin and stuff like that, but when I start thinking about original sin to the natural law. There is no sin between man because man develops their own rules, how we interact with each other. But to be unlawful to the natural law, to be against, that's sin. That's a mortal sin. To rebel against yourself and your creator is sin.
So what you think about the black girls who wear blue contacts and blonde hair?
I mean, and
really try to truly duplicate the European woman.
Listen, man, I ain't got nothing for them. I ain't got nothing for them. Like we all been brainwashed to a certain extent, and when I see them, they've been brainwashed, and I have sympathy for them. That's it. And I'm not going to waste my time trying to explain things. I'm not going to do it because I've been there. I've been there, the one beating our head against a brick, and then it hurts you hurt yourself because you start to question your own. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm not. When you see the blue eyes and blonde hair, and that's cool. Go ahead and you do it because you're gonna fall to your own iniquities. You're gonna fall to your own sin. And I'm not gonna be there to. Nobody's gonna be there to save you because there's nothing there to be saved of. You can't save everybody from themselves. So. Yeah, that's how I think about it. I don't even worry about it.
That's what's up. What you got coming up?
Just a show. I know my man said he want me to do a spoken word piece. I do a spoken word piece for y'all. But other than that, just the books. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to get a little tour going, get some momentum. After that, just perform.
Aren't you an actor?
Yeah, man. Now we did some plays, but honestly, we did the short film, and so one of the things is, and like I said, it's a lot. We trying to do a lot right now. We're doing a lot right now, so we want to turn Mama, the short film, into a feature-length film. You know what I mean? Nice. That's my most immediate production. The beautiful lady that I work with, Tiffany Cozy, she does Cozy Company. She produced films and directed in the past as well. She has a lot of projects that that are shifting towards not, I want to say shifting, like changing our perception of things. So she has a project called Real Estate. It's called REBALVISION, Real Estate Through the Black American Experience, and it's basically giving people an understanding of real estate and the possibilities of owning real estate through the Black American experience. So the whole, whichever project gets more attention at one point or another, everything is geared towards shifting Black people's perspective of what we deserve and what we should be, our ambition. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, everything, just all projects, all everything.
No doubt. Oh, what's the family you did the plays with?
Oh, we're gonna shout out Camila Productions for sure.
Salute.
We're gonna shout out King Conwado, Shelly on the set, you know what I'm saying, Knowledge, Dion, you know what I'm saying, definitely Camila Productions. She put me on. She put me on to a lot of things, bro. She had me in 2 plays. You know what I mean? She gave me my first feature out here. I think that's when me and you first met. My first feature out here at Fusion. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah, shout out to the community. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to, you know what I'm saying, my man Clive. Shout out to, man, I don't got my glasses on, brother. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, shout out to Clive. Yeah, he the marketing guru, you know what I'm saying? Guru in the building. But yeah, man, go to the website, www.IamPoetix.com. Matter of fact, go to Instagram _Poetix _Poetix and click the link and start the journey. Rebel experience, But yeah, that's what I got going on for right now.
That's what's up.
Trying to be focused down here, bro. One thing I noticed, I love Atlanta. I love Atlanta, and this is the community I was looking for when I came down here. Like, how people, you look for something, but, you come to a new place, you might not find it. Now I found exactly what I was looking for. I can truly say that.
Where you from?
Originally from New York, but I moved down here from Pennsylvania. I lived in the mountains. You know what I'm saying? I lived in the mountains of Pennsylvania. We was just raised different.
All right, he was raised right, though.
No doubt.
He was raised right.
That's good. Be awake.
No, Ross, you got it.
No, we good. It's good. Yes, so yeah, we did. So that's good, man. We building. I'm loving it, man, because that's a great experience for real. And I definitely wish you enough success in everything you're dropping right now, because the community's behind you, you know what I mean? And that's what it is, because end of the day is we got to make sure we support what we do. This is Black History Month. You're supposed to be supporting Black businesses. That shouldn't be a sign have to say that, right? It should just be a clear,
in your blood.
you know what I'm saying, void mind state. So, they say Black History Month every year, you know what I'm saying, every day. So let's do that. Let's stay first focusing on supporting one another. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a great part of our history too. You know what I'm saying? We supporting one another and also giving the strength. I'm bigging up one another. Because we forgot that too. You know what I mean? A lot of these things we bigging up these celebrities, but all that stuff is staged. You know what I mean? the real things is the hard work and labor ones put in, the sacrifices that ones is making. You know what I mean? The actual work, right? So, yes, sir.
You just reminded me. Shout out to VIP, and I know you know Brother Sincere, Milk, Fitzgerald the poet, B-Rod Eastnut, all the VIP poets, Village Inspired Poets, is a group of collective poets who are really doing work in the community, putting on shows, putting on different fundraisers. I know Sincere personally, he has a different relationship councils, he has different manhood meetings, different things going on. So shout out to the spoken word community as a whole in Atlanta. Definitely don't want to forget that.
No doubt, no doubt. Big 'em up. Big up Sincere, definitely, you know what I mean? One of our soldiers out here, you know?
Sure.
So we thankful because it's just us, you know what I mean? We have to put the community together and realize we all have certain things we can implement into the community to strengthen our community and strengthen one another, you know? So that's what they didn't want us to see. So here we are, 2021. 100 years ago, they bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? 1921, right? So, but again, that's when they bombed it. So you're showing you that before that, we were doing really good.
Right.
You understand? The Roaring 20s was really popping. You know what I mean? For us as a people, because we were creative, we had talent. Again, we had skills. You know what I mean? And we had all these different businesses. We had banks. You know what I mean?
We worked with ourselves.
We worked with ourselves, and we was happy to do that. You know what I mean? It was not even a thing that we was like. It was a black thing. Literally, we supported black, whatever it was, where it is. I want to get to that. I need to go check that.
Yeah.
I ain't been there yet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Natural.
That's where we at. I'm going there. You feel me? Because this is the time we living in now. Everybody indoors, because what I tell you is martial law, right? So the original time we was outside. Remember that?
Right. Outside,
You know what I'm saying?
I remember.
Our time was from outside. You know what I'm saying? We didn't come inside.
outside
Remember
the
that? We
department
didn't
stores.
come inside. I'm not coming in yet.
Yeah,
Right.
you get in trouble.
Remember
for
that?
killing.
Right.
Now, martial law, everybody comfortable inside. You know what I mean? Right? Oh, when it get hot, the AC gonna blow up. Bumper cloud. The people still gonna be in there on the internet doing what they call the game again?
GTA.
Fortnite.
The
Grand
car
Theft,
joint,
GTA.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto getting plenty play in the summertime. Trust me.
Fact.
These youths is piled up in there. They ain't coming out either. We from the era where we was outside.
Outside scraping out.
You understand? We didn't go inside.
Right.
We were from the era where we was outside literally
We
all
got
day.
scars.
You know what I mean? What you
Yeah,
did
Last
today.
of a dying breed.
I don't even know how that happened. I was just outside and that just happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You wake up.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
We was outside. So,
Right.
and we more socialized. See, now y'all on social media. You know what I mean? We socialized.
man,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
yeah.
We
How
literally
we
got out there and
socialize.
met new
Right.
people every day.
Had social skills.
Y'all got new friends every day. Y'all
Bars.
following people every day.
Nah,
Right?
emotional now.
Oh.
Everything is an
Oh,
impulse.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's get black to what's real. You know what I'm saying? We slapped so many fives, our hands used to stay red. Remember that? Remember the hand red?
Right, right.
I ain't giving no more fives right now. Got my hand red.
Depends.
Remember that? Remember the hand so red? It's like, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna knuckle you up.
Yeah,
now.
right.
Knuckles.
Invented the pound.
One man, remember man used to grab your hand so hard and crush your knuckle? Remember that? Remember the
You have to
handshake?
shake your hand,
Man.
squeeze your knuckles
Ooh,
together.
remember that?
Handshake, man.
Yeah.
Come here, man. Let me get your
That's how
hand
you
shake.
learn to have a firm hand.
Exactly.
Ooh, remember that?
You ain't want that.
They got soft hands. They washing their hands right now. Hands soft, palm olive up,
Palm olive.
right? So
Marlon.
we come from a serious era, you know, where we really, again, we had skills. Remember a guy was on the court?
Mhm.
Remember he was on the court and he was like, yo, he got skills. You see this man just,
Full court? Oh, yes, sir.
remember that?
No names.
Woo. So we was outside. Now y'all inside and comfortable being inside. Stuck in front of the TV, wasting half your life away. Wonder why they sick. You ain't move. He's not moving. Anything still is dead. What's living in a still water?
Some dead.
Can't no life come from some
Still water. That's right.
Okay. So y'all sit still. Y'all sit still and keep watching these sitcoms. Sitting calm. That's what they doing. They sitting very calm.
Being programmed
Boop,
by the program.
boop, boop. That's the life. Sitting calm. Okay? We was outside. We don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? We know about actually getting out there and finding jobs. Remember that? You had to go and see who was literally hiring. Remember that? It literally be like, I'm not sitting here waiting on nobody to see they gonna call me and hire me. I'm going to these people places, see if they hiring right now.
Sweep up the barbershop.
Woo.
You know what I'm saying?
You ain't sweeping no barbershop right now. They want to sweep their room. What? What?
How you should get paid right there.
So, they ain't take the garbage out. They don't want to go outside and take the garbage out. You know what I mean? We was happy to take the garbage out because we was going outside. Remember that? I'm going to take the garbage out, Mom.
Seconds.
You know what I'm saying? I'm headed out.
Seconds.
You feel me? The garbage going out because I'm going outside. Garbage pile up in there right now because nobody want to go outside. Huh?
Yeah, it's a different era.
Sitting very calm.
That's a crazy thing when people be like, what do you think they're going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? And I'm like, yo, they already did it. Look around. They did it. You sitting down, scared to go outside.
COVID-19.
You ordering your groceries. You don't even go to the store to get your groceries no more.
Scared of that. Scared of the grocery store now. Scared of the grocery store. You know, because they're comfortable being served. So here's the next thing. The checks coming in through the mail. Remember how hard we had to do to bust a check?
Now they just
Remember how many moves we had to do, make the bust one check?
Right.
The check coming through the mail. Man said he gonna get back on Grand Theft Auto, man. Check then came through the mail. He ain't going outside today. Huh? He gonna jump on Amazon.
Man, that's crazy.
Huh? He on Amazon and eBay. And he called Uber Eats. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He going nowhere.
Made the world.
They going nowhere. Fast. Right? Comfortable with that though. We comfortable with that. So when they come knock on the door, because you in there, right? We was outside.
Right.
You couldn't find us.
Catch
Y'all know where he at?
You in there.
You know? Do you know where? So it's out of. You remember Moms used to come around the block. She was like,
Where he at?
"Where he at? Y'all seen him?" Nobody could see him because he was outside.
Right.
We knock on the door.
You right there.
We know you in there. We see you sitting there
See you
calm.
online.
Yeah, we see you blinking.
Say, I see your gamer tag.
Right.
I know you in there. I know you in there.
You in there, and you comfortable with that. You comfortable being monitored all day, every day. Man got a Ring alarm, happy that he can watch and monitor himself. I said, man, it's nothing amazing, man. You can just look out the window for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
Ring alarm. He
you
only got
you don't realize the Ring alarm is definitely a whole surveillance system set up to surveil you, right? Monitor you, and then what your daily activities are. But you're comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to be monitored. You want people to see what you're doing.
Volunteer.
Yeah.
Everybody your business every second of the day.
So now, instead of knowing thyself, you out there posting 1,000 selfies. Right? No one wants to know themselves, but everybody got to get a selfie in, right? Right?
Yeah, personal prison. Think about it. Say it slow.
So,
Selfies. Say it slow. That's your personal prison.
say again? Selfie.
Peace, God.
Yes, sir. You locked in a cell for yourself. Yeah, man.
Entertaining yourself.
Contain yourself into it.
So you're containing. Oh, and here's another little fun fact, a black fact. Your cell phone blocks your melatonin levels. Y'all gotta look that up.
I can see that.
Your cell phone is subliminally killing blacks on the low. Well, it's subduing their melatonin. And what that deal with your thought patterns, your cognitive abilities, a whole bunch of other things. So the black mirror is not a good thing.
True.
And they got us addicted to it. You touched on it like a few shows back. The mark of the beast, the chip in the right hand, the phone in everybody's right hand. So
Right there. You got to put your fingerprint on it in order to cut it on. Then you got to put the thing to your forehead in order for it to recognize you. That's what the mark is. It said it should be in your hand and it shall be in your forehead. This is the first thing you do. You touch the phone with your hand and you put it straight to your forehead. Yeah, you logged in.
the science.
Yeah, you love the mark. You love what the beast give you. You know what I mean? And then here's the thing too. It take away your memory.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying? You have no memory no more. You don't even care for that brain in your head because you got that cell phone. You imagine how many people driving around right now, brethren, on these GPSs and lost in their own cities.
Lost.
In their own cities, brethren. They even like they out of town somewhere.
Right.
I can see, I'll be giving people that's out of town a break. Well, you're not from here.
Right.
Okay, good. I can understand that. But if you're going to tell me you lived here for like 2 years and you're still on the GPS, you know what I'm saying? And you still just slowing up traffic, you know what I mean? Because you lost.
I know get the main area. You know what I'm saying? I get to the West End.
Too.
Once
I know how to get here.
No, Georgia, I'm still new up here though.
Man, listen, the memory is everything. Because see, what happened then is that we knew that we go off of getting lost. You know what I'm saying? We find ourselves from getting lost.
Right.
People scared to be lost. Again, it's fear.
Fear thing.
I don't know where I am.
Right.
Well, figure it out.
Right. Drive around.
Just figure it out. It's not even hard. Just use your brain to figure out where you are. It's not even that difficult at that point. But true to the phone got them, they scared to even use their brain. This GPS, no, you idiot. Use the brain in your head
UPS.
to figure where you are. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really simple. You know what I mean? We got to look up and watch the signs. You know if you're riding by and you see, you know what I'm saying, a gas station there, you see one of these little Popeyes, you know what I'm saying, little, you know, stores. So you'll know those are your landmarks.
Yeah.
This is how we move, from landmarks. You've seen that before. Oh, I remember this, right? That's how we move. But now in this day and time, you'll get in the car, punch in your phone the address, pull out your own driveway, get all the way to the place you're going to, and park, and get back in your car and say, how do I get home? You don't know how to get home? So you mean you tell me you drove yourself from home and you don't know how to get home?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's
You
real,
comfortable with that though?
That's real.
This day ain't GPS, Google, right? All kind of things you want to give the excuse for, but instead of just using your brain. You know what I mean? Because that's what they do. A man in Africa right now broke his phone. Phone cracked and everything. He just got a new one though. He's sitting there programming 500 phone numbers from his head. In Africa right now, he's doing that. Different countries, different states. He's programming 500 numbers from his brain. Why? Because he has memory.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? He's been working his memory power. See what I'm saying? He also speaks 7 languages too. He remember that too. See, we don't even want to speak English now. We done broke it to Ebonics and all kinds of stupidness, right? So we ain't even interested in even learning anything other than what we know already. You know what I'm saying? Which is absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? But differently though. You take the time we living in, we more take time to just study what the phone do. You understand?
Then study what our mind do.
And study what the mind do. We don't even know what the mind do. We don't even know if the mind can even store information no more. Be honest, in this generation we looking at, they don't even know the mind can store information. You give them $10 and ask them for change for that. We looking baffled. This is $10 though. I mean, how could you be baffled? You know what I'm saying? It's just $10. I mean, I need the change back, but baffled. You know what I'm saying? Because the brain is not storing information. You know what I mean? We got to get black to what's real. The original stories, as the brethren was said, was told through stories. People speaking. It was language. You had to pick up the lingo. Everything was spoken through word. So you had to pick up the lingo. But now, people don't remember anything because everything is programmed and downloaded.
In your phone.
Right?
Outside of
So all your information is broken up, but you don't have the full story of anything. You see what I mean? So anyway, we're going to seal up this episode right now, but before we do, we got to have my brethren, Poetix, bless us with some poetry on the show. Keep the mind flow up, man. We give thanks for that. So we're going to set that up, man. Yes, indeed. Hold on, one love.
I remember the ancestors, the hunters, the gatherers. It seems primitive, but I'm just reminiscing. See, before the power struggle, we had roles and purpose to fulfill. And I remember selfless contributions. I remember who was shooting in the gym and who wore the team flag. Before Belgium divided the Hutus and the Tutsis. Before King Leopold collected the hands of the Congo. I remember who gave it all they had, who stayed true, who stood tall, toe-to-toe to the red, white, and blue. And when we were yelling, don't shoot, I remember who stood their ground when Trayvon went down, who took a stand when Sandra Bland went missing from action like the masses incarcerated. I hope the distance hasn't given you amnesia. See what they wanted us to forget? This bloodline, the long list of legacies, the dynasties and the treasures buried deep beneath. See, before this is all over, our freedom will be the new history. Before this is all over, they'll drop to a knee ever so humbly. This is Colin Kaepernick with the fitted hat backwards. Do-rags, wave caps, bring back the camo and the steel toe versus the suit and tie. Matter of fact, get fly how you want to. But when the script gets flipped, remember we said this. Remember the Alamo. Remember Jim Crow. Remember Plessy versus Ferguson. Remember Dorothy Counts. Remember heavyweight bouts. I remember Ali took on the government and went the distance. Pardon me, I'm just reminiscing, but I remember they called us 3/5 of men. From Angela Davis, to Rosa Parks, I remember black women. See, Angela Davis rocked the fro. Huey had one too. Stokely Carmichael preached politics. Excuse me. Brother Kwame Ture. The politics delayed the enlightenment, but one thing about truth, it always shines the brightest. In the middle of the night when things seem the darkest, I remember pain, passion, who sparked this. I remember swinging with our backs against the wall. I remember the last words of a dying man, stand tall. I can't fight this anymore. Because I remember the sacrifice. I remember being up at night. I remember the will, the might, the sit-ins that meant standing up for what's right. And when we marched on Washington, we didn't numb pain. We came, we tamed, be slain just to regain, rename, growls, fangs, howls, all in our Father's name. So I remember Yahweh, connected to a higher power, all praises to it, all mazes lead into it. Intuition, that is. See, they try to confuse us with loose change. They say they want peace and love, fine. Right after we reclaim. See, they changed the game when they introduced interest and inflation, profit off the idea of capitalism, just another form of feudalism. Only difference is optimism. Oh my God, all these isms. But I see them, running in circles, doing the most. Take out your pens and pads, ladies and gents. I know it's a little early for final exams, but I want to reach you. So we cling on to the idea of what it means to be successful, because they determine the physical value of the things they try to keep from you. Like the elegance and the luxury and the classy. And speaking of class, if you were determined to be lower, then you'll be regarded as last. And that's how the devil did it. He played with the ego of man and hoped that you would forget it. But I remember the light, the love, the grace, the mercy, the place of peace, the promise made to the streets. I remember who gave it all they had and asked for the least. I remember who that there that made war with the beast. I remember the prayers before the feast, Father, hallelujah. I remember. Rebel.
Much love, yes indeed. So we thankful for all checking in. Hope you sip some of that, you know. Soak that in. Because that was real food for thought, right? Yes indeed. We thankful. We here. And you already know. This is another episode and another season, right? Ooh. My man. Let's seal it up just right like that. Respect. Give thanks. And this is the Think Champs. One love.